So what happens when they force you to get off the ship early? Not because of the ship, because of the port is told us to dock early. You have people waiting for buses that aren't scheduled for another 2 hours. Bus isn't scheduled for 2 hours. And all these people, 2 more hours. Fun, because the bus is arriving when they're supposed to arrive, but we ended up arriving 3 hours early. All because the tanker ship has to get in, and this ship has to move out in order for it to get by. Interesting. Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, let me tell you about a really messy, crazy disembarkation. So I just got off the Oasis of the Seas in Cape Liberty. We had an issue. And the issue was there were a couple of tanker ships that needed to get in and get out, and they can't get in or out while the Oasis is there. The Oasis is so large that they can't make the turn safely. So they told the Oasis that they can pull in, but they have to leave again so one of the tanker ships can get out and the other can get in. Which meant the ship had to dock earlier than expected, which was no problem. The ship made it there on time. It wasn't going at full speed or anything like that. But when you're expecting to start, your shore excursions and everything else like that, having to get off earlier caused a lot of problems. Now, I had booked a shore excursion because my flight wasn't until later on 6 o'clock at night. Well, best laid plans, I figured I'd get off on a shore excursion for 9 o'clock, 9:30, spend 4 or 5 hours on the shore excursion, then get to the airport. Less time standing around at the airport, right? Because they won't even let you through security until 3 hours before your flight. So, and there's not a lot of sitting areas outside of security in airports. So you end up standing up for hours and hours and hours just waiting to get in. But I booked that shore excursion. Perfect. Here's the problem. We got, and I'm going to clarify this right away. This isn't the cruise line's fault. The cruise line had no way of doing anything else. So I'm not blaming Royal Caribbean for this. I'm blaming whoever the dockmaster was and who organized this thing, because they don't think things through all the way. They just think ship in, ship out. But they didn't think of the ramifications of what passengers perhaps or crew members have to go through in this case. So the thing is, the ship could have pulled in later. However, had the ship pulled in later after the tanker came in and left, well, then they would have had to rush everybody off and had a hard time getting the new provisions on board as well as get the next passengers on board. They would have been delayed. They might not have set sail till 9, 10 o'clock at night. It would have been a mess having, 6,000 people getting off the ship and another 6,000 people getting on the ship, all converging in the terminal at once, going in opposite directions. Would have been a mess. So the ship really had no choice. It had to pull in early, get all the passengers off, then pull out again, let the tanker out, and then pull back in and start the boarding process all over again. Otherwise, the cabins wouldn't be ready, etc., etc. Of course, the port people don't think of those things. They just think we need to get room for this ship to come in and this ship to get out. They don't think of the other things that have to go on when they make these decisions. Now, the Oasis came in, we pulled in, and my shore excursion said meet in Studio B, the ice skating rink, at 7 o'clock. So you usually meet in there around 7, around 7:30. They walk you out towards the buses, or 8 o'clock. They walk you out, go through customs, get your luggage, go through security, and then get out to your bus. And the buses normally pick you up between 8:30, 9 o'clock. Well, at 6:30, they announce all luggage is now off the ship. Please proceed directly to the gangplank and get off the ship. Well, all right. So I said, well, maybe I still have to go down to Studio B. It's only 6:30. I'm supposed to meet at 7. I go down there. Studio B is locked up tight. There's nobody there. There's no signs. There's no anything. And they're announcing to get off the ship. So people get off the ship. I left. I got in line. Huge line going. Just got my luggage. That wasn't a problem. Luggage was waiting for me. Walked outside. Found where the excursion is supposed to leave from. And the person said, oh yeah, the bus isn't here yet. Remember, it's like 6:45. They said, we expect the bus at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. It's only 7:45. 6:45. Over, 2 hours to sit outside. Now, if you've ever been to Cape Liberty, you know there's no place to wait in the terminal. They weren't going to let us sit, all 6,000 of us, in the terminal while we wait for rides and ride sharing. There were people going to hotels that the hotel buses weren't expected to arrive till 10 o'clock, all lined up along the side. You see, the shore excursions are still going to show up at the time that they were supposed to show up. They can't just all of a sudden say, oh yeah, okay, we'll send a driver 2.5 hours early. There may not be a driver available 2.5 hours early. And you also have the tour guide who has to line that up as well. So yeah, we're all lined up and it's freezing outside. I saw people who were still dressed for the warm weather because you pack the night before, right? You always have to pack and have your luggage waiting outside. And so some people forgot to dress warmly. There were no jackets and things. I had my jacket on with a hoodie. I was good, but there were people out there with shorts on and short sleeve shirts on who were just freezing and digging into their luggage trying to find some warmer clothes because it was rainy and it was cold in New Jersey in October. What a surprise. So we're all out there waiting. I'm out there with some people who were in my training classes on board, and they were relieved to see me to know that, okay, they're not the only ones standing out there, because we all had the same luggage tags, number 12, and there was nobody there. Well, apparently, they opened the doors for Studio B at 7 o'clock. So I went too early, because all of a sudden around 8:15, you saw the tour guides come out, the crew come out with all the numbers from number 12 on our tour. So was it at my fault, or was it kind of the fault of the announcements saying that everybody should be getting off the ship now? And there was nobody in. I was only, a half hour early, and there was nobody in studio. Like, the doors were locked. They usually like people out of the room as fast as possible, and wait in the waiting areas would be better than in the room so the stateroom guys can get their job done. And unfortunately, we went there. Studio B's locked up, so we just said, well, we must have to get off the ship. We get off the ship with thousands of other people, and the buses weren't there. It was a madhouse, and a lot of very cold, grumpy people getting off the ship. I was one of those happy people because my flight wasn't until 6 o'clock. So I wasn't going anywhere anyway. I do understand. It was cold. And if you were expecting to get off the ship and just go to your nice hotel room, a nice warm hotel room in New York, and you had to wait another 2 hours, 2.5 hours for your bus, you probably weren't happy. And I can completely understand that. And again, this wasn't the cruise line's fault. This was the port that made them do it. They made them do it, saying that the tanker had priority, even though the tanker could have took an earlier or a later departure time. Instead, they made the cruise ship pull in and pull out and pull back in again, all on the same day. And in windy situations, in a small dock, the Oasis class ships are phenomenal at handling. But there's always that chance, right? There's always that chance something can go wrong. And so to make a ship pull in and out of that size, yeah, probably wasn't the right decision. Well, I hope you liked this little video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.